Hello, my name is SB1123. I am the CEO and founder of Grizzly Industrial Inc. and owner of South Bend Lathe Company. Today we're going to talk about this South Bend 24-inch 7.5 horsepower bandsaw, but before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about South Bend itself. As you know, South Bend has been around since 1906. It is a 116-year-old company that is an American icon in the machinery business. Every U.S. Navy vessel in the last World War had one of our South Bend machines on board. And we're proud to say that today, every new Navy ship that comes off the dock has one of our South Bend machines. So that legacy and level of quality is upheld into all of our product line, whether it's woodworking machine or metalworking machines or bandsaws, lathes, or for the military or for industry or for even a hobbyist. All of our machines have this uncompromising quality. So let's talk about this bandsaw. This 24-inch bandsaw is more than just a pretty brass plate. I'm 6 feet tall. This thing is massive. It's 850 pounds. The table size is 33.5 by 24 almost, 23 and 5/8 inch. The throat on this is 24 and 3/8 inch. So if you have a 4x4 sheet of plywood that you want to cut in half, you can actually do that, but this is more than a plywood bandsaw. This is for resawing. The resawing height on this is 16 inches, so you can take massive logs, if you will, and run them through here. There is this cast iron fence that comes with it, precision ground. The table's all precision ground, comes with a miter gauge. It comes with powder coated paint, so you're not going to have scratching on it like a normal paint job would have, and it'll last many years. Wheels are precision cast iron wheels. They have been cast in a special Resaw die, which is very precise, and as you can see, it's a very clean looking wheel, and there isn't much balancing required after they've been cast. They're so precise. So I mentioned that this thing has 16 inches of resaw. The blade capacity of this bandsaw is from 1/4 inch all the way up to 1.5 inches and everything in between. It takes a 181 inch blade, but it'll take basically anything between 180 and 181.5 inch blade. The blade guides are double roller bearing guides, both top and bottom. So that gives you total control and good adjusting ability. It's got double dust collection, one on the side and one on the back. One of the features on this is it's got micro switches in here, so that when you open these doors, the micro switches will not allow the saw to start up. This machine is so large and so powerful that with the cast iron wheels the way they are, the machine will take a long time to slow down. The blade will continue. As a safety feature, you got to stop the blade with the brake. And with the limit switch, it cuts the power to the saw, and so the brake is not fighting the power, the motor, to stop. So one of the other great features about this bandsaw is this clear blade tracking window where you can see what's happening to the tracking of the blade, either when you're setting up or while you're using the machine. So if there's any issues, you can see what's happening right here. So before we go to the back, I want to cover a couple features that are up front. One of the interesting features on this, it has a saw tension guide here that tells you, where the tension of the blade needs to be. This large table, cast iron table, has been precision ground after it was seasoned, and it is very thick, has a lot of webbing underneath, so there's hardly any flex in it at all. Now, there is another great feature about this saw that's very unique to us only, and I'm going to go over to the back of the bandsaw to show you what that is. So one of the most interesting things about this bandsaw is this rack and pinion table leveling feature. It serves two purposes. One, it's easy for you to tilt the table. This is a pretty heavy table, and on other bandsaws, you don't have this feature where you have this rack and pinion, so you gotta balance this while you're trying to lock it in place after you get the right adjustment. On this one, you have this rack and pinion that is attached up here, so you loosen this guy right here. It's pretty tight, and what it does, it allows you to tilt the table and get it exactly where you want it. On a table of this size, when you've got a big heavy log, for example, that you're cutting, you don't want any flex at all. So this rack and pinion attachment here actually serves as another, like a leg for the table, so there is no flex at all. I mean, I love this feature. All my bandsaws have this feature, and it is, I'm telling you, it's one of the best features of this saw. So the adjustment on this table is 5 degrees to that side and 45. So you can bring it up a full 45 degrees. Obviously it can't go more because the table's going to hit the top there because it's such a big table. A lot of bandsaws will have the table only come up to here so they can tilt a little more, but 45 is pretty adequate. Another good feature about this is it's got a pin stop here, adjustable bolt. You've gone ahead and adjusted it to exactly where you want it, and if you look at this, this is going to be dead on, and all I got to do is bring it down to that bolt, tighten it in place, so every time when you got the table tilted, you don't have to reset it. You just bring it down to the bolt and just lock it in place, and it's ready to go. It's perfectly square. So the motor is a big 7.5 horsepower 3-phase motor. It's pre-wired to 220 but can be converted to 440. Another good feature is this magnetic starter switch, so that when you turn off the bandsaw and you're working on something and the power comes back on for whatever reason, the saw is not going to start up until you press that button. Let's talk about the top part of the saw here. It's, as you can see, it's very simple. Clean. This is the lock for the rack and pinion for up and down. This here is a quick change lever for changing the blade, so you can loosen the blade, put on your new blade and tighten it. This guy here is for the blade wheel adjustment, so that you can track it perfectly so that it's working with the guides, it's not too far in, the teeth are not too far in. So it's a very clean back here. The saw itself is made of a very, very thick steel frame, and that steel frame is double bent here, so for extra rigidity. So it goes in on both sides, it's welded together. This frame will not flex at all. So whenever you tighten this big heavy-duty bandsaw blade on this frame is not going to flex. This is a heavy-duty saw. So what we have here is this optional Resaw Fence that can be used vertically or horizontally, and I'll show you how that works. So this is for tall pieces that you're going to cut. It gives you an extra level of support here. If you're cutting a very small, thin piece, sometimes the fence is too big and you can't get your hand in there. And so you turn this sideways and position it so that you now have a mini fence for those small pieces that you're going to cut, and you got your hand here, you're out of the way, you got your push stick, everything is safe, and you got all the room to work. So as you can see, this machine is made in the typical South Bend fashion. It's a high quality industrial use machine made for everyday use for total dependability. We appreciate you watching this video. Thank you.